Streaming here. And then hit this. Make sure that we are actually. Okay, that's there. Hello, everyone. Hi, Logan. How are you doing? And I better mute my Discord. There we go. Looks like I'm dropping the Twitch because I got basically nobody ever watched me on Twitch, and I did not have the bandwidth to sustain Twitch and 2 YouTube streams. So I'm gonna experiment and see if we can handle the 2 YouTube streams, because the vertical stream actually did get like people like coming in. So we will see how that works. And I am waiting for my chat to connect here. But yeah, how's everybody doing? Hi Tabby. Hi Bliam. We're just getting started here. Okay. People filtering it. I don't know what's the deal with that. Okay. Oh, that's a problem, Logan. That's very unfortunate. Yeah. Yes. Yes, you need to get vaccinated. I am vaccinated for flu and COVID. And, you know, when you go to a regular doctor checkup, make sure that you're up to date on all vaccines. I don't know why it's taken so long for this thing to connect to chat, but I see people talking. I had an appointment with my doctor this week, and he checked there and he said, "Oh, you're due for an MMR booster, and you are. The last test showed you were immune to rubella, but not measles and mumps. So we'll go ahead and give you an MMR." So all of the things. Yeah. If my chat, okay. All right, this is connected so that we can potentially, if people pop into the vertical through the shorts feed, then we will have the chats combined. Okay. I promised last time that I would have some kind of a poll about classifiers, but the more I thought about it, the more I thought I don't know how to do a poll about classifiers, because one thing is I don't want to pigeonhole myself with how many I have. The beautiful thing about classifier systems, and I don't know if possessive classifiers do this as much. Yeah. Oh, yeah, Bliam, that's super important then. Keep up on your vaccines. But the cool thing about classifiers and the thing that distinguishes them from noun class systems is their flexibility. You can end up having lots of classifiers, and the categories are not as firm. The categories don't necessarily end up like being totally stable. So here's what I'm going to do. We're just going to take these ideas and we're just going to start making a chart now. And for classifiers, I do actually want to do etymologies because my experience with classifiers is with Chinese. It may be different in other languages, but with Chinese, it is very clear that the classifiers are transparently derived from nouns. You see things like, okay, tiao for long thin things. Okay, tiao is also a word that means something long and thin, right? What's a tou, which is for certain kinds of large animals, is literally the word for head, used as a classifier. So we will probably do that. I think given what we do here, I think that the classifier version of a noun will not have the singular and plural and case suffixes. It will just have the it will just be like a bare root, and then that will distinguish it from the noun, because the noun cannot exist without a suffix unless it's an inanimate, right? And some of them might be derived from verbs too. I'm thinking, so if we make a table, and I think we just need 3. So classifier, etymology. Wait, let's say so what? How do we? What do I do as a heading for like the class? What class of nouns? Yeah, and then etymology. I'm thinking for edible, we're going to absolutely do edible. I think we're probably going to do dangerous too. And edible, I think we probably will go from maybe bite. Does that sound good? Bite? Yeah. Dangerous, we could do a bunch of different things. We could have tooth, claw, horn, all kinds of things. And the thing is, there is not, you don't necessarily, with a classifier system, as opposed to a noun class system, it's not necessarily the case that you have one classifier for each noun. The noun will have like a default classifier, but you can mix them up a little bit. Like I've talked about this in Chinese before. So usually with the word for dog, you would usually have yi zhi gou, right? Zhi is a classifier for lots of different kinds of animals. Sheep, probably goats, dogs, cats. You can also go with 一条狗. Tiao is a classifier for long, thin things. So a bigger dog could be 一条狗 instead of 一只狗. Same thing here. We could do a thing like, maybe our word for, we have a general word for mushroom, but you could use either the edible or the dangerous one, depending on if you're talking about one that's good to eat or one that is poisonous, or if you want to emphasize something about it. Like if you have a word for moose, well, you can eat moose meat, right? But moose are also incredibly dangerous if you encounter a live one. So you could, depending on the situation, depending on what you want to emphasize, choose between different things. I think we're probably not going to, if we're going to go this edible, dangerous route, I think we want to probably do other things in that vein rather than necessarily shape or size. But we could end up doing some shape and size. So Polycore had the meat animal versus pet animal, edible plant versus not edible plant, and child. I'm not sure if I want child specifically or family relationship. We can debate on. We can have family relationship. If we want to have that separate from child, we could. Dangerous. Once we figure this out, by the way, I think this classifier system could figure into the politeness system. We could have. Here's one that I wanted to. Hi, how are you doing? Oh. Okay. So valuable items. This is a class I definitely want to have. But I'm not sure what we will have, what we will do with it. However, what falls into valuable items is going to be complicated. Okay? So, valuable items, yeah, we can have like gold, gemstones, expensive things, rare artifacts. But we are talking about the Fae. So we can also, in valuable items, put names, personality, character traits. Because to the Fae, okay, if we're going by common fairy lore, these things are transferable to them, and these things are of value to them. They try to collect them. So I really want to have one category that is valuable items that includes both things that we would consider valuable, and then things that we would consider like inherent properties of our identity, but that Fae can steal from us, if that makes sense. Let's throw in some other ideas about this. Uh, we have sort of a difference between plants and animals within the noun class system. So I don't know if I really want to have any kind of distinction there. Um, uh, I think something that's for inorganic. So this would be edible. So let's say venomous animals. Hi, well, close. Okay, well, that's great. We'll conlang together a little bit. So this would be child, parent. We'll probably work out some kind of kinship system for Sylvan, because I don't really have a reason to think of them as reproducing other than how humans do. Obviously, there's going to be weirdness, because you might have Fae that just pop out of the earth fully formed or something like that. But I think Fae as a reflection of humanity, or of the humanoids that exist on the material plane, will have these kinds of relationships, even if they're a little bit strange. Whereas, like, I didn't do that for dragons because I don't know how people want to handle the way that dragons reproduce. I could see it going different ways. It's possible for them to be, it's theoretically possible that you could just end up with the dragons. What am I trying to say? Like, they could lay eggs in a clutch, or they could lay one egg and be, doing everything for that one egg. I think that they might reproduce more than you expect, because adventurers are constantly killing wormlings. But for Fae, like, they probably have a wide variety of ways of being born, but they probably have some kind of family relationship. Inorganic, so rocks. Inorganic and inert. Okay. Rocks. Can't really think of rocks. I think metals will actually be, like iron will be dangerous. But let's actually put iron in here. But rocks. What's another like inorganic thing? Like sand? I was gonna say dirt, but like soil can be sort of alive, and with a preternatural understanding of life, they might understand that there are living things in the soil, right? Uh, um, do we want to do celestial objects? We also need to keep in mind that this is all in relationship to ownership. This is a possessive. Um, no, I didn't want to. Yeah, well, we can do that. Product of one's craft, right? And Aaron just says, "Yep." I don't know. Yeah. So like, books written by possessor. I kind of like this kind of distinction. And this is one where it'll be situational, right? I think we're good on these categories. We can always add more though. Like this is fine. Let me just do a quick up or down vote here. I want to see. I want to see what y'all think of. I'll get the poll. I'm still going to use straw poll even if we are just on one stream here because I like it. I like it better than the native YouTube stuff. So I'm just going to go with. Can we do a ranking? We can do ranking polls. Okay, well, let's just do it multiple choice because it's just two options. Let's go with. Should we separate children from other family relationships? And it's just going to be yes or no. And schedule this to close. I think we only need 23. We only need 5 minutes on this one. So 8:30 a.m. Create the poll. Oh, I'm not logged in, so I don't have a record of this poll. Okay. Did this go into both? No, this just went into one. Okay. I need to log in. Okay, get your votes in. Get your votes in, and let's see how that rolls out. But in the meantime, I suppose that I am going to need some words. And you guys know how we get words, right? Why is this weird? Okay, where is my lexifer? Vote done. Okay, so let's get about 20 of these. And we will go and throw this into Lexergy. We'll hit apply. Okay. Ooh. Boobwee. Boobwee. Okay, that's interesting. That'll be reduced down. Yeah. Who's talking to me on Facebook? I hope you guys aren't hearing everything that I have going on my thing. I have a ding every time I get a message from you guys now. Okay. Okay, come on, get the votes in here. You go tick the thingy. So, so here's our bank of words we're going to work with. Let's actually talk about meanings here. What kinds of nouns or even verbal things could we derive our valuable items from? We'll get the poll done, and then we'll go back to family relationship. Throw out to me some ideas for what noun could be the source for valuable items. Like gem, maybe. Just throw out whatever. I'm gonna mute my. I think if I. Story. Wow, story. Bauble. I'll say bauble and trinket are kind of the same thing. Story. That's really interesting. That's really interesting given the way that I'm doing this. The question is, like, would they have grammaticalized this for valuable items but also included like gold and gemstones and stuff, right? Yeah. Yeah, it is. That's super interesting. So Let's see. Okay, that poll should be closed. So let's look at the results of our poll. Let me reload it to make sure I have it. Okay, everybody said no, we'll just do all family relationships are the same. With just 7 votes, guys. So let's park this one for a second, and we are going to jump here. So considering that distinguish if they consider them of equal value. If you're immortal, novelty is precious. Not sure if they are actually immortal. Don't know the lore. I would say that some Fae are immortal and some are not. I don't know if D&D is super clear on that. I know that there are playable races that have Fae ancestry, but they are mortal, right? The elves live for a long time. They live for up to 750 years, but ultimately they do die, right? Yeah. Story. Yeah. So stories being valuable, but stories being grammaticalized as valuable is the question. However, I say, like, if we say gold, gemstones, rare artifacts, maybe what they value in these things is not as much the fact of it. Okay, so the Archfey are immortal, but Fey races just live a long time. That makes sense to me. Like the Archfey are almost on the level of deities, right? But so they will be immortal until somebody kills them. But yeah, because everything in D&D is immortal until somebody kills it. If you get powerful enough, you can kill God, right? So let's go ahead and say story. Let's go with story. And we will get into word forms for these later. Let's say that the word for story, that means also that we have story, an abstract concept, which does not really fit into this schema. So we're going to have to figure out what stories get classified as. I mean, we could just throw it in animates, but I feel like they would be seen as a living thing. Yeah. Why should God be immortal when I can cast Meteor Swarm? Exactly, Aaron. Exactly. However, a god can cast Meteor Swarm multiple times in a battle. If we go by Critical Role. I don't watch Critical Role, but I know that happened. Yeah, I think autotroph probably works for stories too. I'm thinking either autotroph or herbivore. Maybe maybe we can have multiple words for story, and some of them might be autotrophs and some of them might be predators, some of them might be decomposers too. Because like a good tragedy might be a decomposer. right? Whereas a comedy might be autotroph or herbivore. But we'll have to see. Just based on vibes, right? A horror story is a predator, right? Um, yeah, so we have to see. Let's get our general word for story first. Oh, that's really great. Oral stories are autotrophs because they are continuing to grow. Do you want to do autotroph or you want to do herbivore? Because they feed on something. They feed on what are our own minds, right? But in another sense, you could say they're autotrophs because they're not consuming anything in order to feed. This is getting into weird metaphorical philosophy, which is great. Is a great thing actually. This is why we set up our classes and then we say we're not going to add stuff just to add stuff. We're just going to try to fit everything in. We're going to think about that. But for now, let's get through all of the meanings we have here. What ideas do you guys have for where family relationship? I think if it evolved from a parent-child relationship, we could have something like seed, right? Or child, right? Or baby. But then if it evolved from ancestors, we could have something like sire um, or father, mother, stuff like that, right? Aaron, that makes a good point. Heart, heart, heart. Okay. Heart or whatever organ you associate with emotion. Heart or liver or gallbladder. Right? We can decide whether we want to do that, huh? House. House. But the thing is, so I only have experience with Chinese, right? So the thing about house is like a grouping of your relatives, right? We want something the pancreas of anger. We want something that is going to refer to an individual. So I'm going to say probably house is not where we want to go. Yeah. Can I do it? I want to actually do a strike through so that we know. How do you do strike through on Word? Yeah, strike through. I'm gonna say we're not going to do house because that is a unit of more than one individual. For classifiers, we probably want to have something that means one individual person, right? Hi, Topher. The pancreas of anger. Pancreas works, huh? What metaphor? What do people? Does anyone know about in Celtic, like insular Celtic cultures? What is typically the seat of emotion? Especially like historically, modern times they might just default to heart because of English influence, but maybe it's yeah, relative. But I mean, so relative is very vague. Fruit works. Fruit is an idea. Um, Modern is hard. Yeah, I kind of want to do to people to tell me like historically, like in like old Irish or old Welsh. If there's attestations of a different organ, we could go with that. We can think about that. Let's actually. Um, okay, so I'm going to make a poll, but I'm going to do this um, in a different way because we have so many different options. I want to narrow it down first, so that we can focus on a particular category because we're going to choose one of these. Maybe we will have an alternate that is used in different dialects, but like for now, I want to choose one. So straw poll, go to straw poll again. Um, so we're going to create a poll. Okay, what broad category the etymology of the we'll call it family member um, classifier come from, and I'm going to. I want to see. I want to see if this what this ranking poll does. Okay, so let's go with words for offspring, child, baby, words for ancestors, words for and organs associated with emotion. So heart, liver, gallbladder, and or other metaphor. I don't know if I want to add that. Well, we'll just say other metaphor. No, I think these metaphors, this fruit, is like a metaphor for offspring. So I think we will and show. Let's give you guys 10 minutes on this one. Okay. Well, yeah, heart, the harp, yeah. Well, we'll probably have stuff with harps involved, right? 23, 2024. And we'll go with... We'll give you guys until 9 o'clock. So let's create this poll. And then... is this... Okay. Is this coming in? Okay, there we go. And then... Okay, I'll go ahead and put this in the vertical for the one person watching on vertical. Welcome, whoever you are. Yeah, so let's... and I will... We'll check in on that. Okay. And I can... Okay, so this is a different poll. I want you to rank them in order that you like them. And then you're going to get... That's going to give it points. I'm just experimenting with this. Let's see how things go, huh? And maybe we'll have alternates involved, huh? Yeah, so connecting it with music, that's useful to know, well, close. But okay. Old Irish brew can be belly, abdomen, breast, and also seat of consciousness, emotions, but not sure of the reliability. Yeah. Guntry or Guntry. I'm sorry that I can't pronounce those correctly, but 3 strains in a harp. So the harp stuff is interesting, but I think I really want to deal with an organ. So we'll see about how that works out. Oh, you can't vote with a VPN? That's unfortunate, Topher. Well, you can tell us what your ranking is in the chat. We won't judge. Let's go. Let's think about what else we can do. While we're waiting on that, let's think about other things. So, product of one's craft. This is like your own handiworks. So this would be separate from like valuable items, right? So what would we do with that? What kinds of ideas do we have for things that you have made, huh? Hi, Iron Ray. So what we're doing is we are working on the language that I will call Sylvan. It is the language of the Fae, and we're calling it Sylvan for now. That's what it's called in the D&D books, right? We'll come up with a proper name soon-ish, I think, because we have stuff for nouns worked out. But it is the language of the Fae who live in the Feywild, which I'm actually calling Fairy, right? Okay. Aaron has some ideas here. Tool, pen, quill. Right now, what we're working on is a system of possessive classifiers. That's interesting to say tool or pen or quill, because that's actually things that you use to make a craft, right? We could also have needle, right? Um, Shells. So it seems like we have an emerging category there of. So. Oh, we could do, if we don't have child here, we can have child here, right? What is. Why shadow? Oh, yeah. A clay. Clay. Um. Well, you are in the right place because I hope to give people inspiration to create their own conlangs through this series. I think that. Um, okay, we could have fruit. Right. Hand. I kind of like these material ones and these like tool ones. Yeah. Oh, okay. Hand is also cool. I think we're gonna narrow it down. I'm not going to do a generic tool one. I'm not gonna do just tool. Dream. Now the thing is, I do not yet know how the metaphors for magic work here. Um, if you guys will, if for those of you who have been here a while and remember, Ndakaga has a very thoroughgoing metaphor that between dreams and magic. Magic is a dream. The astral plane is the dream of the world, um, and you have all kinds of uh, magic. The art of doing magic is dreamcraft. Um, a curse is a bad dream or a nightmare. There's all those things. Um, patch maybe. I think. I'm going to whittle these down myself a little bit. How long do we actually have in this poll? I'll let this poll run through. Let's pause this for now, and let's talk about this one, right? So for the inorganic or inert ones, thinking about like pebble and thinking about rocks, right? Chaos. Um, so we might get it when we're doing the. Let's put away any ideas about magic. What we were going to call magic for now. I think um just for the moment, I'm going to say that um we're probably going to end up with them conceiving of multiple types of magic in a way that dragons really didn't, because um, the spellcasters that will use this language are druids and rangers, right? Um, uh, so iron or steel, I am not going to do iron. So I'm not going to do that for this because iron, I already decided, is going to take anything that's made of iron will take the dangerous category, because I like the idea. Even though it's not exactly built into the rules, I like the idea of Fae being vulnerable to iron. Okay. Um, yeah. Yeah. So in a lot of fairy lore, I think mostly in more modern stuff, um, the Fae do not like iron. It's a little bit in D&D in the fact that um, druids cannot have metal armor, and they're restricted um, on the kinds of metal weapons they can have. Right? Uh, bore, bore. Um, no, I don't think so. I'm not going to do that because yes, I did Topher. Iron is right here. Iron is in the dangerous category because I think that they would conceive of it that way. Okay, this poll is over. This poll is over now. And so it assigned points based on no, it's not ended yet. Okay, let's just wait these extra 52 seconds in case we get more people voting. Yeah. Um any is so like this is iron is in here along with anything that's poisonous or venomous and anything that will attack you. This is why it's highly territorial animals, just anything large animals could be dangerous too, right? Um if they're the kind that attacks rather than runs away. Dead dead. So I kind of I want actually let's make a new category. This is different from inorganic and inert. Okay, this is um, while we're doing it, actually, let's go. So actually no, we delete this row. because that's a part of the self, right? So your attached body parts are valuable items. Dead matter includes separated body parts, right? Um, so Aaron, so in terms of the Celtic inspiration, it is just um a few things, and I haven't implemented everything yet, but I'm not basing it on Celtic languages. I don't really know enough about Celtic languages to do that, and also it's not my style. But I have decided, since a lot of this comes out of Celtic mythology, I would do a few nods. One thing is there will be initial consonant mutations. Um, I will do inflecting prepositions, which is something I like anyway. So I will do the. I think in Celtic they tend to come from uh, a a combination of like a contraction of a preposition and a um and a pronoun. Um, and then I will think about and also one of the things that splits the dialects apart will be a QP split. So we're going to have a qua becomes pa in some but not all, right? Um, there are other things that we might do. I might ask people about, like I asked recently about like the emotion metaphor here. Um, I may implement other things that are nods to Celtic languages, but it is still an a priori language. It is not based on any of the Celtic languages. It's just going to have a few nods. Another thing I'm thinking about is possibly maybe one dialect or several dialects could have VSO word order, which I believe Welsh has. Correct me if I'm wrong. Um, uh, but yeah, so there's a few nods, but it's not like super inspired by them. Yeah, yeah. Um, okay, is this over? Is this over? Okay, so we have. So this is interesting. We actually have like we have an interesting split here with the ranking. Lots of people, lots of points to the heart or liver, but like a lot of this sort of second choice is like ancestors. Oh, all the Celtic languages are VSO. Okay. Um, when we start doing syntax, I think probably not going to do a whole lot of syntax in the proto language. Um, but when we get into like the dialects, I will want to research how the VSO evolved and see like if we can put that in to the daughter languages. Okay. So Welsh only has it in some cases. That's interesting. Um, uh, Aaron, you seem to know a lot about that. If you have any particular resources that you can point me to on Celtic languages, I would really appreciate that because um, I would particularly want to know a little bit about evolution of some of these features that I am putting in, so that I can decide like, do I want to do it the way Celtic actually did it, or do I want to do it a little differently? Those kind of things. Yeah. Um, so words for organs associated with emotion was the winner, but words for ancestors was like a close second. I think we're going to, for now, Let's say let's eliminate this. We'll eliminate this stuff. And we're going to say so I think when we were discussing, we were saying that usually Celtic languages, modern Celtic languages, have the heart as the seat of emotion. But there was somebody pointed out a word for like chest, abdomen, belly, right? So the question is, do we want to go unique or do we want to just deal with heart? That's a question. For this one, let me I like shell, I like clay. I'm not necessarily I know I put book as the first one, but I actually don't think they emphasize books as much. In fact, I'm considering a plan to make their writing system come from some other language. Let's not do dream. Let's go with these options for the product of craft, and these options for the let's not let's go. I kind of like the liver as a seat of emotion, so I'll keep the liver there. But maybe it may just end up being heart. Yes, that's yeah, the mutations. Yeah, so one thing I'm doing is we're doing 4 dialects, and then those will then the actual final language I'm going to use is going to be a koine of those 4 dialects. So that information, I already saw that there are different numbers of mutations. That's going to make it in. All of them currently will have an initial mutation for that's lenition, stops going to fricatives. And then I will probably, in some of them, will probably have a nasal mutation. And we will think about other mutations we can have. Not necessarily the same as the Celtic mutations, but could have, similar things. Yeah. Yeah, that's basically what I have for the first mutation. Yeah. Um I don't know. Chest and heart is kind of similar. I'm going to say let's make it between these three. And is anyone there's like still one person on vertical, so that's great. Um yeah, Jake. Uh belly. Let's go with let's go get our poll up. I'm going to do our poll for um I think, let me just throw out a bunch of polls. Um, and we're going to do all of these at once. So we're going to go ahead and I'm going to make a poll deciding this one, this one, and this one. I need to think about what we're going to do with dead matter because that's a little complicated. So, what is the origin of the classifier for family relationships? And we'll go with heart, liver, I'll just say belly. And then multiple options. And then for dangerous things. And let's go with tooth, claw, or horn. Horn/antler. And then handicrafts. And we'll go with all of these. Needle, clay, child, fruit, hand, patch. Actually, okay, let's make all of these ranking ones. Let's make these all ranking ones because I think the ranking one gives me different information. Okay, so that's cool. Okay, and then for all three of these, how long am I going to give people for these three polls, huh? So I'll give you guys until 9:20, right? So 9:20 a.m. And then can I copy and paste this? No. Okay. Create. And then, okay, I've got 3 polls coming for you. Scar tissue. Okay, so for classifiers, let's make sure that they... Scar tissue. Associate dead matter with scar tissue. So the thing is, I kind of want something discrete, right? Um, yeah. Let's. Well, I'll just let the polls run for 5 minutes, and then we'll see how things go. And this ranking poll is a very interesting situation. Shadow. I want it to be concrete. Let's think. I mean, we could just have corpse, right? That's kind of weird. What's a plant? What's Oh, log? That's a unique one, huh? Yeah. They don't really do necromancy. I like the idea of log just as a unique thing. So the thing is, like, a log not just is something to be used, but it's something that is returning to the earth. Like dead organic matter is in like this natural idea is like a log can be burned and release its energy that way, or it can become part of the soil, right? You know what? I'm actually going to do this. I'm going to go with log on this one. Okay. Log. Fungus food. Yeah, no. I mean, we have stuff associated with fungus here. Our decomposers, the singular comes from the word for mushroom, right? Because I think of those as like key decomposers, right? So fungus is already in a way associated with dead things in this language, but we have different things involved. Okay. 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 Our polls are over, and we've got interesting results. So we ended up with, on this one, pretty decisively, we end up with belly, right? So we're going to go with belly. Now, this one, we had needle was the top, but actually, like these top three, needle, fruit, and clay, are pretty close. So what I'm going to do is needle. Needle is the main one. And then we're going to have variants, fruit and clay, that will arise in dialects. They probably are used like sparingly in this middle stage. But they ended up becoming full-fledged in some dialects. So needle, like in the night dialect, which is going to be the most conservative one, will probably have needle. But spring, summer, or no, or sorry, but dawn, day, and dusk will probably have, may have one of these ones. Okay? That's how we can do that. This one, I don't know how this happened, but y'all have, let me reload this just to make sure. Yeah, so this ended up equal. I don't know how that works. People just kind of rank those kind of all together. But I can run with that and make all of these are all of these are equally used. And what we can do is we can, here we go. Let's actually make them, since we're using all of them, so make this dangerous large animals. This is going to so no, dangerous large predator. We're kind of that's a good idea. Yes. Okay. So here we go. Venomous. We're going to do venomous animals. Okay. And poisonous. We're doing the technical differentiation between venomous and poisonous, in that venomous is something that injects a venom into you, and poisonous is something you eat. Right? There we go. So, elk, elk, moose, elephants. Again, so elephants don't have horns; they have tusks, but they can still be dangerous. Hippos, and then stuff like um, that. Yeah, that could be something we do. Um, snakes. Um, we could have some flexibility there. Yeah. The poison dart frog would be the poison dart frog is uh I think poison dart frog would be there because so the thing is like this is venomous is injecting poison. The poison dart frog is contact, right? So that is your choice to pick up the frog without protection, right? Keeping with the thing. What's a good poisonous plant? Nightshade. Um, but not tomatoes. Tomatoes would be edible, but like the leaves would be here, right? Yeah. So contact poisons, venomous. Well, I'll say venomous animals, but we're specifically talking about things that inject something into you, right? Yeah, belladonna. Yeah, that was really a good idea. Who came up with that idea? Yeah, so the horn metaphorically extends to like poisonous things because it's the idea of these are things that are dangerous to you if you mess with them. Um, we could also put like bears in there. We'll think about bears, whether they belong in the predator or in this, but like lion, tiger, um, puma, big cats generally will fit in here. Um, well, I think probably bear will fit in here. Even though bears usually won't attack humans unless you mess with them, they're dangerous to other animals. Um, yeah, foxglove, and so like um, okay, so topher, so potato fruit. That brings up another thing about these classifiers will be flexible. So I know that there are certain conditions that can cause a potato, like a potato that's budding, is not good to eat, right? So it might sometimes have the edible classifier, sometimes have the horn classifier, right? Now this is interesting. We're going to use all of these, but like the general idea of danger uh could end up with we could end up with this becoming uh like one dialect uses one of them or another one, right? Oh, old man and woman of the forest. Yeah, I don't know if we're gonna do a bear euphemism. Uh, yeah. No, so now here's the thing. I put dangerous predator here. We already have also this. And here, wolves will definitely fall into this, right? They will definitely be a class 3 noun. Whether or not they get the predator, I would say, here's what I will do. Either wolf or dog might get this. But there might also be situations where dog gets the family one. Right? Both of them will be always this. They're always going to be this, right? Yeah. Well, Topher, I don't know if the Fae are necessarily smaller. We do have to consider how they view nature, though, because they, like, to them, these dangerous things are not necessarily as important. It's not necessarily a negative thing that it's dangerous, right? Um, we are going pretty long. We are getting to the end. I haven't made any words yet. So let's start doing our words. And I want to say, okay, export this. I want to see if there's a way I can do this. So what I would like to do is set up some way for you guys to decide all of this at once. But I don't think a simple poll will do that. Yeah, I don't think that's going to work. So let's look at the things that we have. We have bisa pu bisa pu tipus suhu bubui kung gafa. Um, that's a thought. So if we think about it ecologically, you would expect the smaller Fae to be more numerous, right? But this is going to be very wild. But on the other hand, when I'm talking about like the dialects that become this overarching thing, this Koine, I would think that the larger Fae are more powerful in that, so more socially powerful. They probably live longer and are more political in a way. This is going to be an experiment. I am going to see what happens here. Jib. This is going. This may end badly for me, or it may be wildly successful. Okay. Which of these, you guys tell me, because we may not get to all of them today. Which of these would you like to do? Do you want to go right down the table, or you want to choose a specific one? Well, I mean, what Celtic language do you think do you want to have some influence? Yeah, Topher. So the thing is, I am only doing the four dialects here. The the uh the dawn, day, dusk, and night dialects. These are the four that are most influential. However, there will be room for smaller dialects to exist, and that might be something that I go on a case by case basis of, okay, maybe someday I will run a game and I will need the particular language of this small group of pixies that the players encounter, and I will fork off a specific version just for them, right? That may be related to one of the main dialects, or maybe in between two of them. But we could have that kind of thing happen. I haven't heard anything, so here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna go down the line. We're gonna say, what is our word for bite? And you guys can rank that on preference. And then the fun begins. Show advanced settings. Set this poll to end. Let's go with 9:45, 11, 23, 2024, 9:45 a.m. Let's create this poll. Create poll. This is going to be a bit wild. Yeah, well, Cornish or Scottish Gaelic, huh? Yeah, we could take a look. Manx. I could learn do some Manx. Okay. Let's see. This is public, right? is so. I know. That's why I was like, this is an experiment. Let's see what happens. You don't have to rank all of them. You can leave some of the later ones in sort of random order. Oh, has has no one voted? Did I make the poll too short? Did I make the poll too short? Oh, okay. Now it's loading up. Now we have some people. We've got 2 votes in. Uh No, I mean, did I give you too short of a time to do it? It's a lot to do in 5 minutes. Oh, so is Cornish close to Welsh? Yeah. I will say, stuff about Cornish is definitely Cornish and Manx are definitely ones that I can look at. I'm looking at insular Celtic languages, right? Which are the ones that still are around. Breton. Nobody talks about Breton though. What about Breton? Should I look up stuff on Breton too? You got 30 seconds, guys. Jake has a soft spot for Breton, yeah. I can check out. So I don't know how much fairy lore comes from Breton specifically. Oh, okay. Really, Cornish is close to Breton. That's interesting. Okay, voting has closed. We got 7 participants. How many people are watching? Well, I mean, a majority of the people voted, and so we got a pretty good as a victory for Pisa. Um, let's say okay. Let's Pisa. Pisa is the one for edible. Okay. I don't know why it added a row there. Okay. So that is a lot to rank. Yes. Let's let's not do the ranking thing again. However, can I duplicate this poll and remove pizza? And then I'm going, can I, and let me, Okay, it's still a ranking poll. So let me look at poll. Okay, let's jump into our thing. Okay, so I'm going to take out the least vote getters. Um, so yeah, it looks like this is ordered like this, just to simplify things. Anything that got less than 5 points, I think, and then make this poll. And then what is our word for tooth for the venomous animals? And we will set the time for 9:55. And that's probably the last poll we can do. Maybe we can get another one in. So create poll. Okay. People are a little bit quicker on this one. Why am I in my email? Okay. So okay. Oh, this one is dramatic. We've got things happening in this poll. I'm only going to have one winner on this one, just so you know. Anyway, so we've got let me Uh, well, so one thing I will, I'm not necessarily going to have. We're gonna, for the purposes of this, we're gonna choose one word for tooth that will become the classifier. Uh, Huelhos. But we could end up with multiple words for tooth overall, or a word that means tooth and a word that means fang. In fact, I do plan on doing a lot of like semantic change, especially with the koine. It would be nice to create was it doublets from different dialects, depending on how things work out, right? We'll have to see how that happens. I kind of want all of the words to have some amount of semantic change to them, but that was like one thing I was going to say. Okay, a rule that every word has changed meaning at least once. But but as I think of that, that seems like a very daunting prospect to make every word have semantic changes, right? But we can see. We can see. We can see how it goes. Voting ends in 2 minutes. Voting ends in 1 minute. Get it in there. Yeah. So I'm glad that I actually did this on stream. Did all these categories on stream though, because we ended up with some fun things happening here that I wouldn't necessarily have done if I had just done a bunch of options and had a patron poll. So that is a positive of doing it this way, especially for a system like this that's kind of open-ended. Yeah. Yeah, not all of them shifted. But I kind of wanted to have a lot more meaning changes to reflect the phase like changeable nature. Bless you. Thank you. Thank you, Huelhos. Okay. The voting should have so voting has closed on this one. So we ended up with P for tooth. For yeah. So actually let's put this over here. And I will decide whether I want to do any like reduction on it. Probably not, because the thing is, like, these are going to get a classifier, or they're going to get a noun class, which will change what they look like here, but that morphology will not be on it as a classifier. So we can probably just go with just pitha and pu as and bu as the classifiers. Bu. I have to suppress my my English instincts to aspirate everything for this language so that I pronounce it correctly. Do we want to do one more poll? We're coming to the end. We're going to do more of that kind of poll at the beginning of the next stream. It's gonna, but this, I like doing that. I don't know if you guys enjoy having that many options. Maybe I can like whittle down the options before next stream so that we can do that. Yeah. Well, I mean, but they're presented in random order. So that's a different thing. I'm hoping that I'm at least getting some some preferences there. Um, well, I can consider things. Cornish and Breton retain true VSO. Okay. Um, I will consider this. We will get all of these sorted out next time. Not sure if I'm going to what I'm going to do with if I'm going to do a patron poll this time. Um, I was thinking that we would get this all done, and then we ended up adding a bunch more classifiers. um, so we'll see. So so that sounds interesting, Aaron. So I will think about. Let me pull this, put this into here. Okay. We'll think about that. Probably start it as SVO and then have different transitions to VSO. Okay. Let's go. Let's go back down here. So we've gotten Pisa and Pu are decided here, and we will work on the other ones next time. I will eliminate more options on that poll, so it's a little bit more. Uh, so it's a little bit less like wild, or maybe I can find some other way of getting feedback from you guys on those that is more of like matching to different things. What I wanted to do is like have you guys match to things and be able to see which option you chose. But I would need to look up how to do that. But we are at time, and I want to thank everybody for watching. This has been fun. I'm glad that we worked this out on stream. We got all of these crazy words together, and then we and so next time we will finish out the classifiers, and hopefully we'll be able to move on to like verb morphology, verb and adjective morphology, because I think adjectives the way. So they're verb-like in attributive and predicate constructions. So adjectives are basically going to be stative verbs, right? But that's all I have for today, and I'm going to say happy conlanging. So let me stop the streams. And we have